to the Creator. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, founder of living waters, maker, creator, possessor of everything. We come before you saying hallelujah and Torah Yah for another day. Asking you to forgive us for any sins that we've transgressed against you, Father. And forgive me as I go forth, Father, to expound upon your laws, statutes, and commandments. Touch my word and my speech so that my word and my speech is pleasing to you and that I only express what you would have me to express, O great King. We told and thank you for the life of Chief Prince of Paul Zavulu, the founder of Shema Yisrael, the Cohen Father, the elders, the princes, the chief men, the imams, brothers and sisters, Yeladin. We all say hallelujah, Father. Thank you for another blessed day. Thank you for the opportunity to expound upon your words. Hallelujah, hallelujah, praise the mighty Yah. Shalom, family. Sorry for the late start. We had camp difficulties. And I just want to put that out. Anytime you see me coming from my home is because we have difficulties shooting at the camp. But without further ado, we're going to get right into the portion, which is Numbers 13:1 to Numbers 15:65. And it's going to be select, which is to send. This right here is part of our Torah portion, or Slika. First and foremost, we'd like to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yah Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. And secondly, want to give much respect to Chief Prince of Paul Zavulu, the founder and leader of Shema Israel. Now, shalom, family. And we're in our Torah portion for the week. And as we go through the Torah portions, the Torahs are broken down into 52 portions. And as Shema, we attempt to expound upon it every week. So that way, over the course of a year, you have gotten the entire Torah, the entire law taught to you. We are the children of Israel. We are Torah-only Israelites. So we only believe in the word of the Creator, which is the so-called Old Testament. And I want to let you know, family, if you've come across this video, it's not by happenstance, it's not by chance, it's definitely not by accident. You are here for the same reason that I'm here, because the Creator had it set for you to be here at this time. Whatever he saw in the time of Moshe, he knew this day was going to come. And just like he knew he would have me here today to bring forth this word, he knew he would have you come forth to receive it. So we ask that you harden not your heart, family. You open up your heart and just listen to the law, statutes, and commandments in the history of a great people as we attempt to return our people back unto greatness. This right here in the book of Numbers, where we're going to start with chapter 13, is, I like to always give a synopsis. I like to go who, what, where, when, and why. We're in the wilderness at Param, and we're going forth in Adon Moshe told Adon Yehoshua, Adon Caleb, and other men to go spy out a land. And if you went and you were following our other Torah portions, you understand that from the first portion in Numbers, the Most High started giving us better structure. We got laws and we got statutes and commandments on how to deal with each other. But now it's time that we have that love for each other, that we're ready to build and we're ready to come together. And he polished us up and had us looking good. And he gave us a structure. He gave us a defense system. He gave us a military to defend ourselves, because as we know, and as I always say, you only have what you can defend. You don't have anything that you cannot defend. If somebody can take it at any time, then it's not yours. With that being said, the Most High gave us a defense system to defend ourselves, and that way we were less likely to be tried as we're moving to and fro. Because if you go back into our history in the book of Exodus, the Edomites, or the descendants of the Edomites, had actually attacked us, and they came against us and they killed our women and they killed some of our elders. So we wanted to prevent that. So the Most High gave us law, statutes, and commandments, and he told us this is how you act these things out. He also organized us and got us into a military campaign, and that's what we're about to embark into. I always like to give a different twist into the Torah. Prince Nat always said there's different ways to study the Torah. I forgot the methods that he had, but You can take the practical and then you have to draw something from without it. Anybody can read it. And that's what we try to do here. We're trying to expound upon the law and make it practical and give you understanding of this history and put you in the time frame. So after this, you can go back if this is your first time and watch our previous Torah classes done by Chief Malachi and myself, and I believe Chief Yashar on the Book of Numbers. But right now, we're going to go jump right into it, and I'm going to set the scene for you. We're in the wilderness right now, and we're getting a command from the Most High to Adon Moshe, and it reads on this wise. Yah spoke unto Moses saying, and I always like to stop right there. In your book, it may say the Lord. When you see that capital O, L-O-R-D, word is Yehovah or Yah, Yud He Wad He in the Hebrew. So don't get it confused. If you're under a different understanding and you believe that is the Christ of the New Testament, here to correct you right now and give you understanding. That word, the name of that word there is Yah. If you have a Stones Edition Tanakh or a JPS Tanakh with the Hebrew on one side, which I'm reading out of one now. This is a Stones Edition. I know people always ask, what book is he coming from? This is a Stones Edition Tanakh. And it reads on this wise. Yah spoke unto Moshe saying, send forth men, and if you please, and let them spy out the land of Canaan that I give to the children of Israel. One man each from his father's tribe you shall send, every one a leader among them. Moses sent them forth out of the wilderness of Paran at Yah's command. They were all distinguished men, heads of the children of Israel they were. So this is right here, Adon Moshe, once again. If you follow the previous Torah classes, we had chiefs and captains and princes basically appointed, and we had sects and subsects to our military and how we were supposed to move and how we were supposed to travel. So if you understand it, that we're in a military campaign, this is part of the military campaign, which is a reconnaissance mission. Because we have the Creator on our side, but the Most High doesn't deal in disorganization and in dysfunctionality. So part of being organized is knowing what you go into. You don't attack any task blindly unless, of course, the Creator is telling you to go into something blindly. But if the Creator is telling you to go into something blindly, that's because he's already dealt with the matter for you. In the words of when he told Moshe to go back into Egypt. The Most High had already dealt with that situation. That's why Adon Moshe didn't have to do a reconnaissance mission. The Most High had brought back the report. Everybody who sought your life is already dead. So there was no research to be done with that. That's just a plug and play. That's just something you go and do. But this right here, we're going on a military campaign. You might have to put the sword or the blade to some people. So with that being said, you got to know what you're going into. In any war campaign, you got to map out the terrain. You got to know who you're fighting against, what they have, what they don't have, what's their advantages, what's their disadvantages, where can you beat them at, where can't you beat them at, where are you going to be able to get resources and food at? Is it a place where you can get resources and food too, so you're not pinned down if you're ever in an actual stand down or standoff with these people? So there's a lot of research that goes into war. And this is what we're about to do. We're about to take what's ours, but you're going to have to put in some work. There's no cowards in the nation of Israel. Well, we'll see as we go forward. Sleek on that one. I guess there were. It reads on this wise, verse 4. These are the names These are the names. For the tribe of Reuben, Shammua, son of Zaccur. From the tribe of Simeon, Shatta, son of Hori. From the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. From the tribe of Issachar, Yigal, son of Joseph. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea, son of Nun. Now pay attention to this name right here. It says Hoshea, son of Nun. Our text more Yeshaya. So this is bust out a little bit of the Hebrew. Hoshea means salvation in Hebrew. But look at the stance that Adon Moshe and the respect that Adon Moshe have for the Creator, in which when we move forward, we're going to see that right there. This shows you Adon Moshe always had the Creator on his mind. For the tribe of Benjamin, Pita, son of Repha. From the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel, son of Sodi. From the tribe of Joseph, for the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi, son of Susi. For the tribe of Dan, Amiel, son of Gamali. From the tribe of Asher, Sethar, son of Michael. From the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi, son of Vashpi, Slika. From the tribe of Gad, Geuel, son of Micah. These are the names of the men whom Moses sent out to spy the land. Moses called Hoshea, son of Nun, Yahoshua, or Yahoshua. That means Yah is our savior, or Yah is our salvation. So Adon Moshe sees Hoshea and says, I'm not calling this young dude salvation, because he's not the salvation. He's a brother that the Most High is going to use down the line, but he says, Yah is our salvation. That's a reminder to the people too. He's always putting the Creator first. This brother's name was actually named Salvation, but Adon Moshe, with the respect that he had from the Creator, and this is just my personal take on it, says, no, I'm going to call you Yahoshua, or which basically is letting you know that the Most High is our Savior. And that's a big thing, because a lot of time in our thoughts, do we really think about the Creator all the time? And Prince Nathaniel said this during Shabbat, and I really took notice to it. How many times a day could you actually say you think about the Creator, you think about this great King? Now, this is something that we all can improve on in life, and this is one of the little tidbits that we could take out of this portion right here, because it's not a large portion. It's really over 3 chapters, 2.5 if we're being technical. But Adon Moshe calls him Yahoshua. And that's showing you, for you to even put the Creator's name before it is letting you know that the Creator had to be on your mind. He wasn't thinking about Instagram. He wasn't thinking about the finals. He wasn't thinking about the Mayweather fight. I know they didn't have it at that time, but relevant to his time, he wasn't focusing on those things. He was focusing on the Creator. He was zoned in on the Creator, and that's why he held the highest office in Israel at the time when it came to dealing in direct contact with the Creator. And it reads on this wise. Moshe sent forth spies out of the land of Canaan, and he said to them, ascend here in the south and climb the mountain. See the land, how it is, and the peoples that dwell in it. Is it strong or weak? Is it few or numerous? And how the land in which it is dwells? Is it good or bad? And how are the cities in which it dwells? And the Oxlika, are they open or are they fortified? And how is the land? Is it fertile or lean? Are there trees or not? You shall strengthen yourselves and take fruit from the land. The days were the season of the first grapes. They ascended and spied out the land from the wilderness in Zin, in the expanse at the approach of Hamath, and ascended in the south and arrived at Hebron, where they were Ahamre, Shishai, and Tamiah, the offspring of the giant. And Hebron had built 7 years. Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan of Egypt. They arrived at the valley of Echo and cut from the vine with 1 cluster of grapes and bore it on a double pole in the pomegranate and figs, and named that place the valley of Eshcol, because the cluster that the children of Israel cut was from there. They returned from spying out the land at the end of 40 days. They went and came, and they went and came to Moses and Aaron and to the entire assembly. Now listen to this right here, because this is very important when we move forward into what happened. The children of Israel basically give you a summary of what we just read. Adon Moshe told them to go into the land, and he had a series of questions that he had asked them to find out before they actually embarked and moved forward. Because when you're moving 600,000 people with cattle, with herds, with sheep, with everything else, you basically want to know, what are you getting yourself into? When you're moving a military, when you're moving an army, you want to know, what am I getting myself into? Is this place good? Is this place bad? Is it visible? And the men that we're going up against, are they in fortified cities or are they in tents? Because if they're in tents, it takes less strategy for that. If they're in fortified cities, then you're going to have to really do a lot of game planning. You're going to have a lot of techniques, and a lot of strategy goes into taking over a fortified city, because a fortified, for lack of a better term, is walled. If it's a walled city, is not going to be easily taken advantage of. They're going to have a tower. They're going to have a watchman on the wall, like we would have a watchman on the wall. So a lot of things go into this right here. So don't look at it as it's just a bunch of tribes, it's just a bunch of truckers. The first time I read it, the book of Numbers, it was just like, I took it as numbers. They was giving me a count of men. But when you change your mindset and how you look at it, you can see this is a general telling his men about a military campaign. And he's telling them to spy out the land. And he's telling them what he's looking for and what he wants to see. And bring back me a report on what we're going up against. So that way I can prepare my people accordingly. A good leader wouldn't take his people into something blind, ill-prepared, because the Most High doesn't deal with us being ill-prepared. Every stage of the way we went, the Most High prepped us and prepared us for. He never took us into something that he knew we couldn't do. Either he already won the battle for us, or he was with us while we was during the battle. But it was never just a blind faith thing. So it reads on this wise. They returned from spying out the land at the end of 40 days. They went and came to Moses and Aaron to the entire assembly of the children of Israel in the wilderness of Param at Kadesh, and brought back the report to them and the entire assembly, and they showed them the fruit of the land. And they reported to him and says, we arrived in the land to which you sent us, and indeed it flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. But the people that dwell in the land is powerful, and the cities are fortified and very great. And they were also there the offspring of the giants. The Amalekites dwell in the area of the south. The Hittite, the Jebusite, the Amorite dwell in the mountains. The Canaanite dwell by the sea, on the banks of Jordan. Caleb silenced the people towards Moses and said, now listen to this. Context clues let you know that when they came and brought this information back, when you go on a campaign and you go for a general and you have news that you're breaking down to the general, which your Don Moshe was, you break that down to the leader. You don't go in front of everybody and scream out what's going on, because everybody isn't built for that. You give that information to the head decision maker and let him determine what stance you take from there. But they were cowardly from the beginning, so it didn't really matter. They were just in haste to operate and just say any old thing, because in their hearts, they didn't want to go forward regardless of what happened. So they put it in and said, I'm going to tell you a brief lesson. In life, when people don't want to do something, they find themselves putting it in a position and framing it so they don't have to do it. Like something is always super difficult and impossible when a person doesn't want to do something. But when somebody wants to do something, it's like, yeah, I could. It's just like with a woman that a guy may like. If he likes her, then it's, yeah, I mean, she got kids, but it's cool. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, she don't got this, she don't got that, but I can work with. You will see more things that's really there that it's not there. And it's vice versa. When you don't want to do something like, yo, she got kids, I work a lot, I do this, I do that. People pass the buck and they find excuses when they don't want to do something. But when they want to do something, the same scenario could present itself, but they're going to find a way to draw some type of hope out of that scenario. Do you follow what I'm saying? So you may not want to do something because, like, prime example, I'm going to give you a prime example right here. This is bars right here. If a woman gets pregnant by an average guy and she doesn't want to have his baby because he doesn't have money, he's just an average guy. He was just a one-night fling. She sits and says, I'm in school, I'm in college, and I got a whole bright future ahead of me. I don't know what I'm going to do and this and that. Same woman gets pregnant by LeBron James or Kobe Bryant. College was no longer a deterrent. Your life ahead of you is fine. You have a great future. You find ways to work things out when you want to do something. And this is what these men are displaying here. They're displaying that characteristic. They brought the report in front of everybody. When the Don Moshe said, spot the land now and come and tell me. So they broke a command of the general. And now they're telling everybody, yeah, this is crazy. You don't want to go there. There's giants over there. There's the Amalekites. And now they start to exaggerate stuff. So you're going to see as the story unfolds where the heart of these men was, if it was after Yah or if it was a cowardly heart that didn't believe in the Creator. And I have a life lesson that comes out of that too. And it reads on this wise. We in 13, verse 31. Let us all say, if you're reading along with me, hallelujah. Hallelujah. But the men had ascended with him, Slika. It said, Caleb silenced the people towards Moses. It says, we surely ascend and conquer it. For we can surely do it. And this is with an exclamation point. So he wasn't playing no games. So set a scene, people's hysterical, people's going crazy. I don't know. You know how black people get started. Man, we out here. He wants us to do this. He says, calm down, calm down. We can beat them. We can do this. That's how this is being projected. I always like to give you a little more animation so you can understand what's going on. We can go beat them. We can do this. But see, that's a confidence only a man of the Lord is going to have. Only a man of the Lord is going to have that confidence right there. Like when the brothers go out and we go to the streets and we go to the heart of the worst neighborhood in Brooklyn, which is Brownsville. And if you Google Brownsville, Brooklyn, it is listed as the 5th worst place in the world. We go out there strong and bold because we know we got the Creator on our side. The cops don't scare us. The gangs don't scare us. Matter of fact, we ran into a gang member. We were speaking to the brother. And the brother said he was going to actually, well, I don't know if he's going to do it, but the brother's interested in coming to the camp. But see, you got to have the Creator on your side to go and do these things right there. When the Creator's on your side, I'm telling you, man, it's a different feeling. You feel invincible, man. You feel like you cannot be beat, especially when you moving in righteousness and you moving with your brothers. Nobody can beat you. It could be you versus 100 men. It's you versus the bear. Somebody better pray for the bear. That's how it is when you got the Creator on your side. So a lot of these portions, if you can't get it, get yourself in a warrior mode. Or maybe you need to come be a soldier here or find a Torah-based camp where you can be a soldier in so you can get this within you. Because a lot of this stuff right here, you read it, if you ain't military-minded, if you ain't a general, a lieutenant, a captain, a soldier, you're not going to get this. There is something that can be taken on another side from it because there's always another esoteric view you can take from it. But I'm talking about solely this. The way I'm breaking this Torah portion down is from a military stance. So if you're not in that soldier mind state and you don't feel fired up for the Creator and you don't feel when the Creator's on your side, you could beat the world, you ain't going to get this line right here. You're going to see, man, they going against giants. Man, that fool is crazy, man. This Negro thing, we going to beat giants. But when you got Yah on your side, be a dragon. It don't matter what it is because the Creator trumps everything. You versus a million people, the Creator, with the Creator on your side, you still in the majority because you got the Creator on your side. But I'm going to dig deeper into that because I want to go into the psychology of people that say they for the Creator, but don't do things when trouble comes, when drama comes to prove that they for the Creator. But I'm going to continue reading this so we can get some more understanding. And it reads on this wise. But the men who ascended with him, we cannot ascend to the people, for it is too strong for us. So this is a coward yelling because it's an exclamation point. They brought forth the children. So they brought forth to the children of Israel an evil report on the land that they had spied out, saying, the land which thou, Shlika, the land through which we have passed to spy out, the land that devours its inhabitants. All the peoples that saw it were huge. They were huge. They were the Nephilim, the sons of the giants from among the Nephilim. We were like grasshoppers in their eyes. So we were in their eyes. So now they trying to back out of it. They trying to get away from it. They flying away from it. So what I said before, when a person doesn't want to do something, it's always a inconvenience. I'm gonna give you another example. You got a brother. They go to hook him up with a girl that's really not desirable. He make up all type of excuses. Nah, man, I'm just trying to lay low. I'm trying to chill. You know what I'm saying? I just got out of a relationship. I ain't trying to get into another relationship, man. I'm doing me. I'm chilling. He don't find her attractive, so he gonna make excuses. Now, her other friend comes around, and he's like, yo, what's up with her, man? Like, Like, yo, nah, you good. You just gotta use out that relationship, right? Nah, man, I could get over that quick. I'm all right, man. You know, you gotta get back on the horse when you fall off. You can't stay like this. Yo, you just told me you was good. Like, how you want to talk to her? You ain't want to. Nah. And they never want to say that's what it was. And this is the same scenario here. When you don't want to do something in life, you make the task seem incomparable. You make it seem as if it's something I can't do. And this is not just for them right here, because this happened in their time, but this is for you. When the Creator is on your side, there shouldn't be any excuses why you can't get something done. And especially if we take it into a military aspect, if you're a soldier and you got an order, you don't ask no questions. You just do. The Marines for the United States Army, they just do. They don't get to question why. And then, oh, we're in Afghanistan. We outnumber, we pinned down. They go to war. And if they die because they got pride in their nation. But that's another thing these brothers didn't have. They didn't have pride in the nation of Israel. And how could you fight a war with men that's not willing to die? Listen to this mind state right here. You can't fight a war with men that's not willing to die. Now, we understand in our righteousness, when we go out to war, everybody come back. But you cannot fight a war with men that's not willing to die. Every man in war has to have an understanding that I can't get killed. This may be my last battle if I go out. Because if you're fighting with fear, you're not going to win in war. When it comes to war, you got to understand that, listen, man, you got to have something else driving you. And it can't be fear. It got to be pride in your family. It got to be the love for your wife. It got to be the love for your children. It got to be the love for your brothers. And most importantly, it got to be the love for your God. Because you fight in the holy war. This is the Most High on your side. You the chosen people of the Creator, and you got heathens you going against. Why are you talking about they giants? So this is to get you more into that understanding of the mind state of the people, how they were mentally fragile. And it's going to get you to another matter. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'll give the whole lesson up on one chapter. We're in chapter 14 of the book of Numbers, and it reads on this wise. The entire assembly raised up and issued his voice, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aharon. And the entire assembly said to them, if only we died in the land of Egypt, or if only we had died in the wilderness. Why is Yah bringing us to the land to die by the sword? Our wives and our young children will be taken captive. Is it not better for us to return to Egypt? So listen to these fools. Listen to this breakdown here. I'm going to go line for line. The entire congregation is going against Adon Moshe and Adon Aharon, because they basically was captain and lieutenant. And he said that they went. So this is what I mean. And I got to go into this right here. Because our people suffer from this today. Our people want salvation. Our people want deliverance, but they don't want to do what it got to take to get delivered. This is not the Christian doctrine. This is not the Christian church where we waiting on a man to crack the sky. And when this man cracked the sky with a billion angels, we going to come up and we going to walk out of this land. You're going to have to put work in here. You're going to have to work your way out of this captivity. But these men wanted the easy way out. Mentally, they weren't ready for what the Creator had in store for them. And you got to ask yourself, because this is what I always ask people. And I got to shout out Colin Pinkoff, because he says, we don't believe in prayer. And as a nation, I don't know if we do. Because at the end of the day, if you wholeheartedly believe in the Creator and you wholeheartedly believe the Creator's on your side, when times get rough, you wouldn't doubt the Creator. You ask the Creator, is this the move you would have me to make? Would you like me to go another way? Would you like me steer my direction? Because maybe I could be trying something that you don't have for me. But You're never going to doubt the Creator when you're given a task. And that's the problem with our people. The task that we have been given is to clean ourselves up. Pick yourselves up. Care about each other. Love each other again. And then we get to go home. But our people actions show we don't really believe in that right there. Because if we did, even within Israel, we wouldn't act that way towards each other. We would practice this law that we go out. This law that we all supposed to go about, we would practice this wholeheartedly. And that would govern ourselves. This law would clean the black man up. This law would clean the black woman up. This law would take drugs off the street. This law would take guns off the street with each other. This law would take aborted children out of the mix. This law would bring back families. This law will restore the black man to being great, the black woman to being great, and the black family to being the premier and a model family of the world. But we don't act on these things because we clearly either we think this is just a fairy tale book, or we think that the Most High is just saying these things and he's not going to do it. But this portion is so eloquent and beautiful how it flows because it shows you the Most High is going to act out what he said. He's not just playing with people. He isn't just going through the motions with us. He says something, he commands it, and it has to get done. And it shows you that if you don't want to be the people that goes home, somebody else will. I believe Prince Nat said this was the greatest line I've heard so far. Well, one of the greatest lines. He said, if there's one man left on this planet, he's going to be an Israelite. And that's God's word. This is God's word. It's not stated how Prince Nat said it, but we know through context clues that if only one man survives, he's going to be an Israelite. Because God said the heaven, the sun, the moon, the stars are going to go before he break his covenant with the children of Israel. So with that being said, and if all you need is one, when we read here and what we read in the past with Adon Moshe, don't get too big on yourselves and say, I'm an Israelite and stop there. It's more work to do. And if you don't want to work and if you don't want to pick up the mantle to restore this nation, this place is going to get built brick by brick. There's no caterpillars. There's no towing equipment. There's no fast fixes for us. Everybody going to have to get dirty. I said this when I did the Torah portion. I'm sleek out. When I did a portion on Habakkuk. Israel isn't like Christianity where you get saved and that's good enough. Israel is a nation where we are a nation. You have to get everybody on point with you. We went into captivity as a nation, so we are only going to leave captivity as a nation. So you can't get in this mind state of singularity. I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to do this myself. This is a team collaborative effort. And right now, as a team, these men felt because they didn't go to the quote unquote captain and tell him, listen, this is what we have. What do you want to do? You follow what I'm saying? They went to the people over the leader. They told the people aren't built. Anybody that's ever been in a leadership position knows the Most High elected a leader for a reason, and people in general need a leader for a reason because everybody doesn't have the heart to make tough decisions. Leaders are there not to do the easy stuff. Leaders are there to take the tough calls, to take charge in the tough matters, in times of trouble, in times of distress. People aren't built for that. People or civilians, they just want to live their life, man. They want to go through their life with the notion of everything is okay, everything is fine, and what I do doesn't affect the apple cart. I can just live my life. But it's a difference between the soldier. A soldier's not supposed to have that heart. And these men weren't portraying the heart of a soldier. And it reads on this wise. So they said to Slika, so now they've turned basically the whole or most of the congregation against Adon Moshe. And they have everybody in the state where now you're not going against Adon Moshe, you're going against the Creator, because it says, they put the Creator's name on this. It says, if only we had died in Egypt. If only we had died in the wilderness. Now they're questioning the Most High. Why is, and I'm going to say the Most High's name because I'm not going to question him in a manner. Why is the Most High bringing us to this land to die by the sword? So you know what this is, why this is blasphemy? First of all, the Most High says he won't forgive those who take his name in vain. That's one thing right there. Secondly, if the Most High said, I'm going to get a name for myself off of Pharaoh, and now the Most High has this great high and holy name, which I'm foreshadowing, which will be brought up later when I go deeper into the portion. For you and the Most High to make a promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he told Adon Moshe, I've heard the cries of the people, and I remember the promise made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he took us out of Egypt. So now, for the Most High to bring us here to lose to them, you're basically spitting in his face. You're calling him a liar. You see, whatever he said ain't relevant. Whatever the Most High said it doesn't matter, because this obstacle here is difficult. So I'm not going to go with the word of the Creator. I'm going to go with what's faced before me. And that's the same thing you can see today. A lot of people say, I'm not going against America. I know what the Most High says. I know what the Lord says. But my boss tell me I got to work on Saturday. So since my boss tell me I got to work on Saturday, I got to come in. Man. My boss tell me I can't get that holy day off that the Most High called the appointed season. He says I got to come. So since I can't get it off, man, I can't fight them. I go to court, man. How am I going to win this? You don't think when the Most High sent us on them ships, he who is, who was, and who will be, saw where you would be today and saw your boss would be on your back? So when he wrote all of this law and all this history, he left you out? But this is just little things to hold you, little things to think about, because you may not be going against the giants or the quote Nephilim or whatever you want to characterize them literally, but you can go against a corporate giant. You can go against the American giant. You can go against the police giant. You can go against the judicial system as a giant. Anything that's contrary to the Most High that blocks you from doing what the Most High said when you've been given a task, that becomes your Nephilim or your giant from a spiritual sense, because you're not going forth with what you were commanded to do because something is blocking you. So you are literally no different from these people here right now, minus the questioning the Creator. So I'm going to get back to this portion right here, because this is so deep when you dig deeper into it, because it goes a lot into the psychology of our people and the mind state of our people. And when you understand that right there, you can really see that Israel, they sell a lot of wolf tickets. Now, I can remember a couple portions back, he says, all that the Creator commanded us to do, we will do. They agreed to it. So now when he told them to go spy out the land and he's giving them the land, now they're talking about other obstacles and stopping them from doing it. But that's Israel. Israel is also front runners at heart too. It's all good when it's all good. But when it's all bad, they want to break loose. They don't want no parts of no trouble. They don't want no action. They want to be PG-13. They want no action. They want Israel light. You get what I'm saying? Not Israelites, Israel light. You know, they got Crystal light, Israel light. They want commandment-free Israel. That's what they're looking for. And it reads on this wise. The entire assembly of the children of Israel raised their voice, and the people wept that night. And the children of Israel murmured against Moshe and Aaron, and the entire assembly said to them, if only we had died in Egypt. Now, mind you, in Egypt, they were slaves. So they're telling you, I would rather, and this is, I'm sorry. Sorry, Phil, and I'm trying to get off these two lines, but the Most High keeps popping thoughts into my mind, man, and the Most High is so good, and I got to bring it forth to you. This is another characteristic of our people. We would rather die as slaves than die fighting as something else. Our people were so afraid to break away from America, break away from American, even if you don't have the financial means to get away from America and move away. They so afraid to mentally and spiritually break away from America. It's crazy. You know you in a place that hates you. You know you in a place that's against you. You know you in a place that's adversarial to you. But there's a comfort in being a slave. Hear me out, family, because this is deep right there. There's a certain comfort in being a slave. I know, that's crazy. You want to be a slave? You want to be a slave? Listen to this. We got laws on that. We got laws on brothers who And this is in our law for our people. They have it so good that they don't want to leave. They would rather stay doing what they're doing than go and bark and have something for themselves. Because nobody wanna really get into the dirt. Nobody really want to pull their bootstraps up and pull their sleeves up and get really and roll in the dirt a little. You're gonna have to get a little dirty. Because see, independent thinkers, and this is another thought right here. An independent thinker is a free thinker. The man who thinks I'm gonna do for myself, that's the man that's actually gonna be free. The man that thinks I need this and it's not the creator, because that's the only thing you need. The man that thinks I need America, I need this system, I need their jobs, I need their school systems, I need their health care, that's a slave. That's a slave. Malcolm X did a speech about the house Negro and the field Negro. He says, you tell a house Negro to leave, he gonna say where? I mean, you tell Slika, you tell a field Negro to leave, he gonna say where? Anywhere is better than here. Anywhere is better than here. That's a slave. That's a field Negro's response because he's tired. You know what a house Negro gonna say? Where we going? Where we going? And not where we going because lack of planning. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's not where we going due to lack of planning. It's where we going out of fear. Those are two different things. Some people like to be organized when they do things. And that's very well respected. Because as we can see, the Most High had us even spot out the land before we went somewhere. But then you have people who have no intentions on leaving. They're just throwing stuff out there, just like these brothers here, so they won't have to go. So this is showing you the mind state and the psychology of our people. We went through hell and we begged for deliverance out of that hell to the point that we were so sincere. And listen to this right here. We were so sincere that the Creator, the most powerful entity being in the world, heard our prayers and told us it's time for them to go. I think they got it. But now, when we face a little adversity, and it's not really adversity because we ain't do nothing yet, it's I'd rather go back to being a slave. But that's the mind of Israel today. Prime example, another line, praise be Yah. When your job or whatever, and I like to use the job because that's one of the calmer, more frame of references. When your job tell you can't get the Shabbat off, you don't want to fight for that, go right back to being a Negro. Because when you're not fighting for that, because the Creator said you're going to get the Shabbat off. Even America wicked laws allow you to get the Shabbat off. You just got to you may have to put in a little more work and get a little dirty with it. But America even is going to respect that. You put in enough work and you fight hard enough. Or if that's the case, then maybe we need a community as brothers where we don't got to worry about working a Shabbat. Or maybe you need to go work for an Israelite brother so you don't got to worry about working a Shabbat. But we ain't going to get into all of that. We're going to reel it back into the portion. But when it's time to go against that right there, and you don't believe in the Creator, it's the same situation right here. It's I'd rather be a slave to the system than do what I'm told by the Creator. I'd rather be a full-blown slave because when someone is telling you when you have to and don't have to work and when you can stop work, that's a slave. That's not an employee, that's a slave. You get what I'm saying? So now you're saying I'd rather be a full-blown slave than go do what the Creator told me to do. And this is the same thing here. I'd rather be a slave in Egypt than do what the Most High told me to do. So I promise this time, family, I'm going to get off this line. All of the children of Aaron murmured against Moshe and Aaron. The entire assembly said to them, if only we had died in the land of Egypt, if only we had died in that wilderness. Why is the Most High bringing us to this land to die by the sword? Question mark. Our wives and young children will be taken captive. Is it not better it is not better for us that we return to Egypt? So they said to one another, let us appoint a leader and let us return to Egypt. Now here's a second blaspheming against the Creator. So they're just charging the Creator with all type of folly and nonsense. First they're saying that they were better off in Egypt, which we know is not true. But now they're saying, let us appoint a captain. So who the Most High gave them wasn't good enough. So now he who was, who is, and who will be, didn't see that Adon Moshe couldn't get it done, or Adon Moshe was going to lead him to do something wrong. So now they got to create a leader. So now this is a full-scale rebellion. This isn't, I'm scared. But let me tell you something about the psychology of people. And I go through this a lot with my job. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Because this word is so powerful. This king is so good. I go through a lot of this with my job. I'm a union rep. When I came into my job about 2021, I'm 31 now. And I seen a lot of things my first 2-3 years. And by 24, I was like dealing with the union and getting involved because there was a lot of racism, a lot of nonsense going on. Irish Italian company, you know how it goes. Anybody who's been in the union. And me and a partner of mine put in a lot of work, a lot of fighting, a lot of things, and a lot of arguments in situations that people wasn't willing to do because they were afraid for their job. Got suspended when I didn't do things wrong. It's not a whole nother story. This shows you the stuff they do. And we even got more money where people are making a substantial amount of money. Substantial, listen to me, substantial amount of money in a very short period of time. Believe you me. And they're not college grads. And people loved you for that right there. And that's all praise to the Most High. And now in my maturity, now that I'm in law, I tell people that wasn't me, that was the Most High. And that's all praise to the Most High for using me and allowing me to get that done through his power and through his spirit, that was able to be done. But I'm going to tell you this, now that stuff is starting to go wrong and stuff is starting to heat up, oh, I wish the old union guy were back here. I wish it was like this. I wish it was like that. You was under racism, white supremacy, and damn near hell. But when somebody came and helped you out of that situation, all praise to the Most High for that. Y'all love these people. Everything was all good. Everything was all great. The minute things went downhill, oh man, and they were trying to vote. Well, they did actually try to vote me out and get somebody else back in. And it shows you the mind state of our people. Our people have a syndrome that was before Willie Lynch. This is before WLS, the Willie Lynch syndrome. Our people are in a mind state where they will rebel. They will go against their own good to do wrong. Their fear for going against the establishment, whether it's today or whether it was in the past, because King Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. So whether it's today or it's in the past, the establishment has always scared Israel. And do you know why the establishment has always scared Israel? Because Israel hasn't always been wholeheartedly to the Creator. Because when you are wholeheartedly serving the Creator, believe you me, there's no fear you can have. You fear nothing when you're wholeheartedly. And I can tell you this firsthand account. Firsthand account. You fear nothing when you are wholeheartedly believing in the Creator. You can go in a situation that you know you shouldn't have made it out of. And I wouldn't tell you test it all the time, test the water, because nobody's iniquity free. Where you're like Malek Dawid, or you're one of these people that most are going to keep delivering you because you're not at that righteousness level. But I'm just telling you the mental makeup of a person that's really sold out for the Most High. When you sold out for the Most High, they really aren't obstacles to you. I always say this right here. Serving the Most High, there's no such thing as a brick wall. It's just speed bumps. There are things that's going to slow you down. You may have to go around. You may have to fight through. But there's nothing that's going to stop you when you serve in the Most High. Because when the Most High is for you, who can be against you? So without further ado, let me try to get through this, the 5th verse of 14. It says, they said to one another, let us appoint a leader and return to Egypt. Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before the entire congregation of the assembly of the children of Israel. Joshua, or Yehoshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, of the spies of the land, tore their garments. But here we go again. See? Listen to this. People, I'm sorry. I don't think we're going to make it all the way through this portion because it's so much. In the book of Ezekiel, it says, mark the men that cried out when they saw stuff wrong and don't kill them. And this is why there's nothing new under the sun. This is why this book is so real. This is why the Creator is so real. Look at the men who were upset, because every other man under this age limit that the Most High set was basically taken off. Didn't get to see it, didn't go into the land. It reads this on this one. Moses and Aaron fell on their faces. Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before the entire congregation of the assembly of the children of Israel. Now, I'm guessing the Levites wouldn't have been there because they would have been doing Levitical duties. So we got to exclude them. But we're just going to go right here without going too deep into it. Yehoshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, of the spies, tore their garment. So they cried out. They was upset because renting your garment let you know back then you were pissed. It's like Macho Man Randy said, I'm sick of this, because you get frustrated with the nation. And this is why they were spared. This is why they were two of the people that got to go into the land, even though they were above that age limit of people that weren't supposed to be able to go into the land. And they also, because the Most High said they had a different spirit. But I'm going to try to get through this. They spoke to the entire assembly of the children of Israel, saying, the land that we have passed through to spy it out, the land is very good. If Yah desires us, he will bring us to the land and give it to us, a land that flows with milk and honey. But do not rebel against Yah. Let me read that with the exclamation point. But do not rebel against Yah, because that's how it says. You should not fear the people of the land, for they are our bread. Their protection has departed from them. Yah is with us. Do not fear them. So they're pleading with these people and making a case on behalf of the Creator. Adon Yehoshua and Adon Caleb, they kept it gangster, man. And that's why Adon Yehoshua, I just love his spirit. Even when you go into his books, how he commanded no nonsense. Because I think and I love Adon Moshe. I love Adon Moshe to death. But I think that's the spirit we need today. Our people need to be forced into acting right until they can get to a point where they can act right on their own. They're not going to just do it without that. They need a certain type of structure set up for them, so that way they can know to get it right. But he said, they are bread. We going to eat them cats up. He talking street talk now. They nothing. They light work. They good. We good with them. They done. They nothing. They protection ain't with them. We got the Most High. Basically saying they were only renting that land because the Most High allowed them to. They were seat warmers. They holding it down for us. We got this. And he says, if the Creator's on our side, because you can't speak presumptuously, if the Most High sees fit, we got them. But let's hear the retort. But the entire assembly said to spelt them with stones, and the glory of Yah appeared at the tent of meeting to all the children of Israel. Yah said to Moses, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will they not have faith in me, despite all the signs that I performed in their midst? I will smite them with a plague and annihilate them. I shall make you a greater and more powerful nation than they. Now, Adon Moshe had a solo package on the table too. But he was so nation and he was so people of Israel oriented that he just wouldn't take it. Listen to what he says to the Most High. And I do want everybody to understand what I'm about to read right here. This isn't Adon Moshe telling the Creator or remind, because you have simps, and I do mean simps that'll say, well, why does he have to remind the Creator of all these things if he knows all? This isn't for the Creator. This was played out so you can understand it. This is something that the Creator said, knowing he would trigger a certain response out of Adon Moshe, knowing that it should be recorded for us to see in our current time and day today. And it reads on this wise. Adon Moshe said to Yah, then Egypt, from whose midst you have brought the nation, with your power will hear. And they will say about the inhabitants of this land, they have heard that you, Yah, are in the midst of this people, and that you, Yah, appeared eye to eye and your cloud stands over them, and that in the pillar of cloud you go before them by day, and by a pillar of fire at night. And you killed this people like a single man, meaning you wiped them out like it was you just killing one man. It was nothing to you. Then the nations, that heard of your fame will say, because y'all lack the ability to bring the people to the land that he swore to give them, he slaughtered them in the wilderness. And now, may the strength of my Lord be magnified, as you have spoken, saying, Yah slow to anger, abundant in kindness, forgiver of iniquity and willful sin, and who cleanses, but does not cleanse completely, recalling the iniquity of the parents upon the children to the third and fourth generations. Forgive now the iniquity of this people according to the greatness of your kindness, and you have forgiven the people from Sika. You have forgiven this people from Egypt until now. Meaning, Adon Moshe is telling them, Most High, don't do it because they so great. Do it because of your attributes. Do it because how you great, how you splendid. You don't want to have people saying the Most High, to make a creator, possessor of heaven and earth, couldn't deliver his people out. Because that is what people would have said. The Egyptians would have taken that as a victory. They said, it's literally, if the Most High calls us his wife, you heard what Cameron said about Nas. This cat can't even control his baby mother, man. That's something to laugh about. If you have a wife, you are judged on how your wife acts. That's why that's why we're punished so hard for what we did. Because the Most High called us a wife now. I got a saying that I always say. If you want to know about a brother, look at his wife. That man's wife tells you everything you need to know about him. His temperament, her temperament, how they deal with each other, what he was after, what he's looking for. A lot men, to me, are judged a lot by their wife. That's why it's an important thing. That's why when you go by a wife, it can't just be any old chick. It can't just be a run-of-the-mill sister. It really got to be something elite about her. And I'm not talking about just in looks. I'm talking about in righteousness. I'm talking about in spirit. I'm talking about in decorum. I'm talking about in discretion. These are the elite figures, Slika. These are the elite characteristics that I'm talking about. Because as men, we judge you by what woman you walk in the room. If you ever had a dinner or a get together or something, you're looking like if a dude is super cool or a dude is Mr. Suave and he coming with Rob Spucia and her spirit is off, because I mean you can get with Rob Spucia if that's your vibe. You follow what I'm saying? If her spirit is on. But if her spirit, because at least if a dude to say this, if she ain't the knockout, man, she just a righteous sister, man. I see why he with her. She a good chick, man. She a good woman. Man, she is so on point. She's so gracious. There's something different about this sister. Right? I see why he with her. But if a dude walk in with a loving hip hop chick, you know what his mentality was. He want to flash, he want to flaunt. He ain't dealing with the creator. He just all over the place with it. So back to the point at hand, just to reel it back in and work my way backwards. That's why when you're looking for a wife, you have to look for certain type of attributes. And that's why certain type of things are important. Because she's a representative of you. When you're not there or when she's conducting business on your behalf and she's carrying your last name, that's a big staple. You follow what I'm saying? That's a lot of people look at eyes on you and you're judged by what she does when she's not in your presence. And that's the same thing with us with the creator, to go backwards one level to bring it back to the actual point. We were looked upon as the Most High's wife. So if your wife rebels or if you bring your wife someplace and she acts out and she goes crazy and she's disrespectful and you can't get her and she's like, no, I don't want to do this and that. You're not the man I thought you was. That's what I mean. And I'm not saying this about the creator. I'm saying this about a man. This is how I'm going to look at you. Dude can come. He can talk tough. He can do all this stuff. He can bang the table. He can scream. He can yell. He can be a warrior. He can be a killer. He can be the best fighter. But if you come and your wife bossing you around, I seen all I got to see. You a sucker, and that's all you're going to be in my book. So Adon Moshe, he's not reminding the creator of this, but he's showing us. This is a story for us to take from, for us to see. A lot of these things are learning lessons and parables for us. He says, Most High, if you do this, and the creator already knew this because he created the Dome Moshe. So let's not think this is an actual deep conversation where he has to convince the Most High. The Most High already knew this, but he says, if you do this, then people are going to say you couldn't really control them. And that's a slight on your majesty. You're great. You're everything. Why would you let these people bring you down? I'm going to give you a second example. With me on my job, dealing with what I deal with 120 different personalities, I get very frustrated, very angry. And there's times I just want to quit because sometimes you can want to fight more than the people that you're fighting for. That's the worst phase you can be in as a leader. I lead 120 men, and at the age of 25 years old, men twice my age asked me to lead them and speak on their behalf and represent them with their jobs on the line. That's a big task, but it's also a daunting task because I deal with 100 different personalities, and I understand that everybody is not going to like me. Everybody's not going to be happy with every decision I make. So with that being said, it gets you to the point where you can go home, man, with a lot on your mind, and you can take a lot of the things home with you. And for a lesser person, you'll quit. But if you're a man of the Most High, you're an Israelite, and the Most High is on your side. How I look like the Israelite let these Negroes from work push him over the edge to the point where he don't want to do this no more. He don't want to fight for what's right. Now, he knows if in his absence, racism and white supremacy and everything wrong is going to return, even though these people don't see it. You see it and you know it's going to happen. And the imbalance is going to come back into the job. I can find myself in a state where, hey, I'm at X amount of dollars in salary. I don't really need this no more. I'm good. I'm a 10-year vet. I got X amount of dollars in salary. Man, I don't got to deal with this no more. But just for righteousness and just for what it would do for my people, how would I look if I'm an Israelite? And how does that make Israel look as a people with the Israelite that they chose to be a leader? He was doing this all this time. And when he comes into the truth, now he can't take these people no more. Now he can't deal with them no more. Now he can't work with them no more. Now he let them run him out. So these are the things, these are the life lessons that you take from it. A lot of the times, even if you don't do what's right for the people itself, you do what's right because right is right. And you don't want to always look like, and in the creative sense, you were defeated by a bunch of wicked people and a bunch of rebellious and stiff-necked people. So we're going to pick back up. I know I've been going on for a while, but it's a lot to expound upon in this in this little portion. And it says, and Yah said, I have forgiven because of your word. But as I live, the glory of Yah, the glory of Yah shall fill the entire world, that all the men who have seen my glory and my signs that I have performed in Egypt in the wilderness, and have tested me 10 times and have not heeded my voice, they will see that the land that I have sworn to give to their forefathers, and all who anger me shall not see it. But my servant Caleb, listen to this. This is a big title to get thrown on you. But my servant Caleb, that's big right there, because the Most High is establishing you. When you do something to get established by the Creator, it's a powerful thing right there, man. Like, and that's some of the things, sleek eye, we should really honestly be striving for. We should be striving for the attempt to be noticed by the Most High. I'm going to read this out. I'm not going to get a chance to go into the last chapter, but I'm going to go into the first line of that. It says, but as I live, the glory of Yah shall fill the sleek eye. But my servant Caleb, because a different spirit was with him, and he followed me wholeheartedly. And that's another big thing too, because you can serve Yah, but are you serving Yah wholeheartedly? Are you serving the Most High in a phase where Adon or Father Abraham, where you asked to do something that's not even characteristic of the Most High, but you still did it because you know that the Most High has something in store with you? Do you serve the Most High like Melech Dawid? Do you serve Melech High like Adon Moshe? These are men who wholeheartedly thought about the Creator. And it reads, I shall bring him to the land which he came, and his offspring shall possess it. The Amalekite and the Canaanite dwell in a valley. Tomorrow, turn the journey towards the wilderness in the direction of the Sea of Reeds. So since you Israelites want to think backwards, we're going to go backwards. So he told them, turn everybody around. We going back that way so they can die in the wilderness. And it reads on this one. Y'all spoke to Moshe and Aharon saying, how long will this evil assembly that provokes complaint against me? I have heard the complaints of the children of Israel, whom they provoke against me. Say to them, as I live the word of Yah, if I shall not do to you, if I shall not do to you as you have spoken in my ears in the wilderness, shall your carcasses drop, all of you who are counted in any of the numberings from 20 years of age above, whom you have provoked against me. If you shall come to the land about which I have raised my hand in an oath to settle you there, except for the son of except for Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Yehoshua, son of Nun, and your young children, and whom you said they have taken captive, I shall bring them, and they shall know the land that I have, that you have displeased, despised. Let me read that again. And they shall know the land that you have despised. But your carcasses shall drop in the wilderness. Your children will roam in the wilderness for 40 years and bear your guilt until your carcasses have ceased to be in the wilderness. Like the number of the days that you spied out the land, 40 days, a day for a year. A day for a year shall you bear the iniquity. 40 years, and you shall comprehend straying from me. And I, Yah, have spoken. If I shall not do this to the entire assembly that gathers against me in the wilderness, then they shall cease to be, and they shall die. But as for men whom Moses sent out to spy on the land, and whom returned and provoked the entire assembly against him, spreading a report against the land, the people who spread the evil report about the land shall die of a plague before Yah. But Yehoshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, lived among those men who were going to spy in the land. So the Most High said, you want to come back to the people and bear false witness and spread rumors and spread lies? This is your faith. You're going to die. You're going to die right now. You're not going to wait. You're going to die from a plague. They're going to wander the wilderness, and they're going to question and always say, why don't we just listen to the Most High? Why didn't we listen to the Creator? But your faith is instant death. You're going to die from this plague now. And it reads on this wise. And Moses spoke all these words to the children of Israel, and the people mourned exceedingly. They awoke early in the morning and ascended towards the mountain, saying, we are ready. We shall ascend to the place in which Yah has spoken, for we have sinned. And Moses says, why do you transgress the word of Yah? It will not succeed. Do not ascend, for Yah is not in your midst. And do not be smitten before your enemies. For the Amalekite and the Canaanite who are before you, and you will fall by the sword, because you have turned away from Yah, and Yah will not be with you. But they defiantly ascended to the mountaintop, while the ark of Yah, the ark of Yah's covenant, and Moses did not move from the midst of the camp. And the Amalekite and the Canaanite dwelt at the mountain and descended, and they struck them and pounded them until Hormah. So basically, this is basically teaching you that you got to strike when the iron's hot. When the Most High tells you to move, he's telling you move for a distinct reason, for a distinct purpose that only he may know the reasoning in the logic behind it. But what you see here is they wanted to move on their time. But unfortunately, the creator doesn't answer to that. You don't get to move on your time when you're dealing with the creator. You move on the Most High's time. If he says go at 2, you can't come at 3, because that's breaking the command. And more importantly, this shows you that we are nothing without this Almighty King. We can't beat anybody. We harmless. We wouldn't harm a fly anyway. But secondly, we couldn't beat a fly without this Almighty King, because this is where our power is. When you read it, it says, the Lord thy God in some translations, but it really translates to Yah thy power, because the word God is Elohim, and Elohim just means powers. So it's Yah thy power. So without your God or your power on your side, you're not going to beat anybody. And the Ark of the Covenant was symbolic of that in this instance, when Moses and the men not taking it up there, because the Most High, when you was taking that Ark of the Covenant with you, it was letting you know that you were commanded by the Most High to do something. He was dealing with you. So the fact that Adon Moshe sat back with the Ark of the Covenant, nah, he says, nah, I'm going to let these fools go on their own. They got this one, because the Most High is not dealing with them. But I'm not going to go through this whole thing, because when the time constraint is getting on the later side, but I'm going to read this line now, the first line at 15, and give you some understanding to this right here. We in Numbers chapter 15, verse 1. Let us say hallelujah. It reads on this wise. Yah spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you will come to the land of your dwelling places that I give you, and you perform a fire offering of Yah, an elevation offering or feast offering, because of an articulated vow, or as a free will offering, or on your festivals, to produce a satisfying aroma to Yah from the cattle from your flocks. The one who brings the offering to Yah shall bring a meal offering, 1/10 ephah, fine flour, mixed with 1/4 hin of oil, 1/4 hin of wine, for libation shall you prepare, for elevation offering or feast offering, for each sheep or for a ram. You shall prepare a meal offering, 2/10 ephah, fine flour, mixed with 1/3 hin of oil, and 1/3 hin of wine, for libation shall you bring as a satisfying aroma to Yah. When you prepare a young bull as an elevation offering, a feast offering, because of an articulated vow, or peace offering to Yah, one shall bring with the young bull a meal offering, 1/10 ephah of fine flour, with 1/2 hin of oil. You shall bring 1/2 hin of wine for a libation, for a fire offering, a satisfying aroma to Yah. You shall be done for each bull, for each ram, for each kid of the lamb, for each ram go according to the number that you prepare. You shall do for each one according to the number. Every native shall do with them to bring a fire offering, a satisfying aroma to Yah. When a proselyte sojourns with you, or one who is among you throughout your generations, he shall prepare a fire offering, a satisfying aroma to Yah. As for you, so you shall do. So he shall do, Slika. For the congregation, the same decrees shall be for you, for the proselyte who sojourns with you, an entire decree, an eternal decree for all generations. Like you, like the proselyte, shall be before Yah. One teaching, one judgment shall be for you, and one for the proselyte who sojourns among you. Yah spoke to Moses and Aaron, speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you come to the land which I bring you, it shall be that when you will eat bread in the land, you shall set aside a portion to Yah, as is first for kneading, slika. You shall set aside a loaf of a portion, like a portion of threshing floor. So you shall set it aside. From the first of the kneading shall you give a portion to Yah for your generations. If you err and do not perform all these commandments, which Yah has spoken unto Moshe, everything that Yah has commanded you through Moshe, from the day that Yah commanded and on throughout your generations, it is because in the eyes of the assembly it is done unintentionally. and the entire assembly, meaning there's no atonement for a presumptuous sin. So you can't bring up something for something that's done on purpose. But I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I actually overread what I was supposed to read. But I know you're sitting saying to yourself, why are they giving up? Why is he teaching them how to give offerings up? These people just told they're about to die. But this is the Most High letting you know that there's always a ram caught in the thicket of the bushes. For the children that were going to go see into the land, this is giving them hope. Because 40 years become a long time. And you can really sit and say, when you hear, it's like literally hearing you got to do a 40-year jail bid because of somebody else. So one of the ways you help people get through something is talk about the plans they have when they're getting out. And that's what the Most High gave us right here. Even though he gave a 40-year sentence to the children, as well as the parents are going to die, but the children had to go 40 years if you were under that age limit, because everybody that was under 20 got to go. So if you were 19, you basically did 40 years because of your parents. So, or because of what you partook in it. I can't say either or. So what the Most High did is teaching them about different offerings they're going to give when they're in the land and let you know. I gave you some stuff. I chastised you. It's just like any parent. I'm gonna let you know the punishment, but I don't hate you. I'm not completely done with you. And it's the same thing here. The Most High is letting them know that, yeah, you're in trouble. You're gonna wander this plane for 40 years. But at the end of the day, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Somebody will go home. You will, well, not home. You will see the land because he never was there to go home. You will see the land. The promise that I made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will not be forfeited. It will be fortified. It will be fulfilled. So with that being said, the Most High said, listen, this is what you do when you get into the land, to let them know. Because he can't give you commandments to keep in a land that you're never going to get to see. So he actually lets you know you will get to see these things. And he also said there's one law for the stranger, it's for the proselyte, to let you know that the mixed multitude has some light at the end of the tunnel too. But with that, family, I'm going to stop right here because it's on the later side. Sleek our family for the late start. I apologize again on behalf of the brothers because we didn't have things coordinated and we just couldn't get things situated at the camp, so I had to do it from my home. I want to once again give all honor, all praise, all glory to Yah Eloheinu, Melech HaOlam, founder, maker, owner, creator, possessor of everything. And secondly, I want to give much respect to Chief Principal Baines of Ulu, the founder and the leader of Shema Yisrael, and we'll just close out with a prayer. Hallelujah, Torah, Yah, O Most High, great King, maker, creator, owner, possessor, everything. We thank you for another blessed day, another opportunity to expound upon your law, statutes, and commandments, another opportunity to get things right with you, another opportunity to teach the people, feed your flock the information that they need, feed them the truth and the light. In this time of deep darkness and with false doctrines and false ideologies and false gods, and we ask that your laws, your statutes, your commandments be magnified upon, and that the people receive what you have for them, Father. And we ask that if it's not for the person that sees it today, but the person that sees it tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, whenever they see it, Father, that it resonates with them, and they open up their heart, and they understand that you are Yah Eloheinu, Melech HaOlam, founder, creator, maker, owner, possessor, everything. Shema Yisrael, Yah Eloheinu, Yah Ka, Baruch Shem Kavod Malkuto, Leolam Waye. Hallelujah, hallelujah, praise the mighty Yah. Shalom, family. I just hope that you took something from this portion right here. I like the portion because the book of Numbers to me is very special. It's really for people in leadership roles, in my estimation. And it's also for people in following roles to show you how not to be and how not to stress out a leader and how not to sow discord and how your actions and your thoughts, though you're one man, you can sway an entire set of people and you can actually turn people away from the Creator with your actions. You can cause people to err with your actions, with your selfishness, with your fears, with your insecurities. And don't press that upon the nation. If you have an issue, then keep that to yourself. You don't want to be a cancer in the locker room, because Israel is a team. But at the end of the day, family, I hope that you really got something from that, because there's a lot of life lessons you can take from this book right here. With that being said, tune in, most High willing, for Erev Shabbat praying. Also tune in for Shabbat teachings every Shabbat, which is the Saturday. I hate to say that day, but the seventh day of the week. That's going to be at 10:30 sharp. You can watch us. We're already watching us on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We have some of our street teachings on Facebook at Shema Yisrael, HIC2, on Facebook.com. If you want to see the brothers do work in the street and talk to people in the street and reach people in the street, we're going to go through a process. We can try to take it from Facebook, and I can give it to the chief man, and we can put it on YouTube so the family can see it on our YouTube page. But with that, the Most High is really blessing and moving with us, family. And we thank you for your support. We love you as a family, and we hope that you can keep supporting us and keep growing with us. And much respect again to Chief Principal Ben Zavulu, founder leader Shema Israel. And with that, family, we're going to bid you with a shalom. Hallelujah.